When astronauts leave Earth, something profound happens. The moment they look back at our planet from the cold depths of space, they see something that shifts their entire perspective. And we're not just talking about a beautiful sight, although by all accounts it is. We're talking about an emotional, spiritual, and intellectual transformation that many astronauts describe as life-changing. You see, from space, Earth looks so small, so fragile, like a living organism floating in the vast darkness of space. Astronaut Ron Garan described it best when he said, "We're all riding through the universe together on this spaceship we call Earth." A powerful quote, but what does it really mean to witness Earth from space? What does it do to a person? Let's rewind a bit and look at the first humans who ever experienced this. On December 24, 1968, the Apollo 8 mission became the first crewed spacecraft to orbit the moon. Astronaut Bill Anders captured what would become one of the most famous photographs in history, Earthrise. As they rounded the moon, the astronauts looked back and saw Earth rising above the lunar horizon. The sight stunned them into silence. A small blue planet against the endless black void. Anders later reflected, "We all came all this way to explore the moon, and the most important thing we discovered was Earth." This life-changing experience that astronauts have when they view Earth from space even has a name, the overview effect. This term, coined by author Frank White, describes the psychological shift astronauts undergo when they see the Earth as a single, unified entity. From up there are no borders, no divisions, no nations, just one beautiful, interconnected world. Astronauts consistently report feeling a deep sense of interconnectedness, of realizing just how delicate our planet is. They see how thin our atmosphere truly is, just a sliver protecting all life from the harshness of space. Commander Chris Hadfield, who spent months in the International Space Station, said it felt like a skin wrapped around the planet so thin you can hardly see it. Let's dive into the numbers for a moment. The Earth's atmosphere is about 300 miles thick, but the part that sustains life, the breathable part, is only 12 miles. To put that in perspective, if Earth were an apple, the atmosphere would be as thin as the skin of that apple. From space, that fragility becomes starkly apparent. The emotional impact of seeing Earth from space is hard to describe. Astronauts say it's like a spiritual awakening. Take astronaut Edgar Mitchell, for example, who walked on the moon during the Apollo 14 mission. Mitchell spoke about experiencing a profound sense of unity, of being deeply connected to all life on Earth. "You develop an instant global consciousness," he said, "a people orientation, an intense dissatisfaction with the state of the world, and a compulsion to do something about it." Mitchell wasn't the only one. Nearly every astronaut who's been to space speaks of this same phenomenon. They often return to Earth with a renewed sense of purpose, a desire to protect our fragile planet. It's as if seeing Earth from space forces them to truly understand that we only have one home, one chance to take care of it. In fact, studies show that astronauts who experience the overview effect are more likely to engage in environmental causes or take on humanitarian missions. They come back changed, and many even describe feelings of grief or guilt for how we as humans treat our planet. But what about the physical beauty? Is Earth really as stunning as the pictures suggest? The short answer, yes, and then some. Astronauts often mention the colors, the deep blues of the ocean, the swirling whites of the clouds, the vibrant greens of the forests, and the vast browns of the deserts. One thing they always say is that no photograph, no video, no description can truly capture the beauty of Earth from space. NASA astronaut Scott Kelly, who spent a year aboard the International Space Station, described seeing Earth as like looking at a living, breathing organism. The first thing that hits you, astronauts say, is the sheer clarity. The colors are more vibrant, more alive. The details sharper. You can see whole continents at once, watching weather patterns swirl across the globe. Kelly once posted a photo of the Amazon rainforest from space, its vibrant green stretching out endlessly. "It's like looking at a painting," he said, "but it's real." And then there's the movement. Earth isn't just a static object out there in space, of course. From the International Space Station, astronauts orbit the Earth every 90 minutes, meaning they experience 16 sunrises and 16 sunsets every single day. Imagine watching the Earth come alive as the sun rises, casting a golden glow across the surface, or watching it slowly fall asleep as the sun sets. The city lights flickering on in the darkness. But it's not all beauty. There's a darker side to seeing Earth from space. As astronauts circle the planet, they can see the mark humans have left on the Earth, from deforestation in the Amazon to pollution in the oceans. The scars are visible even from hundreds of miles above. One astronaut, Leroy Chow, who flew on multiple space missions, describes the sight of deforestation as jarring. He said, "You can see it from space, the scars that we've left on Earth." They can also see the impact of climate change. NASA's satellites have been tracking the melting of polar ice caps, the rise in sea levels, and changes in weather patterns for decades. From space, these changes are not just data points, they're visible in real time. Many astronauts report feeling a sense of urgency when they witness these changes, realizing that the damage we're doing to Earth is not just theoretical, but tangible and accelerating. But there's hope. With every mission, astronauts return with stories not just of the beauty they saw, but of the need to protect our planet. In fact, many of the astronauts who experienced the overview effect have gone on to become advocates for environmental protection and sustainability. Think of it like this. Every time we send someone to space, they come back with a message. They've seen our world from a perspective that most of us will never have the chance to experience, and they're urging us to take care of it. The Earth is not just a place we live, it's our only home, and it's fragile. In the coming years, as we continue our journey into space, the perspective will only grow more important. NASA, SpaceX, and other space organizations are gearing up to send humans to Mars. While this is an incredible feat of human achievement, it also raises a question. If we're capable of reaching other planets, shouldn't we first focus on taking care of our own? Space exploration teaches us many things, but perhaps the most valuable lesson is one that brings us right back to where we started. Earth, as seen from space, is more than just a planet. It's our shared home, and we all have a role in protecting it. And here's where it gets personal. Whether or not we ever get to experience seeing Earth from space, the message is clear. We are all connected. The astronauts who have gone up there and come back have given us a gift, a new way of seeing our world. They remind us that no matter how big or small our problems may seem, we all share the same fate on this pale blue dot floating in the vastness of space. They've seen it, they've felt it. And now they're urging us to act, to live differently, to care for the planet, and to see the beauty in everything around us. The truth is, the view from space is transformative. It's more than a picture or a story. It's a deep, emotional realization that we are all part of something much larger than ourselves. The Earth, as fragile as it may seem, is resilient, but it's also in our hands. As we continue to explore space, to reach for the stars, let's not forget the beauty and responsibility we have right here at home. Every sunrise, every river, every mountain, all of it belongs to us. And just as astronauts have seen from space, it's all interconnected. What happens in one part of the world affects the rest. The view from space shows us that we are all part of one planet, one human race, and one fragile ecosystem. And as we look forward to future space exploration, let's carry that lesson with us. We might not all get the chance to go to space, but we can learn from those who have. We can protect our planet, we can cherish it, and we can work together to ensure that this beautiful, fragile Earth remains our home for generations to come.